There is a famous quote of Blanche Lincoln that said, "Stop crime before it occurs is the most effective crime-fighting tool of it." As we have enumerate the well-known high-profile cases such as Ted Bundy, H.H. Holmes, and John Wayne Gacy, this story, nevertheless, is going to be unique. The story of most horrifying and intense case involving the notorious serial killer Jack the Ripper, whose identity hasn't been identified yet. However, after 136 years, the Jack the Ripper police file was made public. How? Let's explore this gripping tragic story, where 5 innocent victims were killed inexplicably and left with no trail. In the late 19th century, London's Whitechapel district was terrorized by a mysterious killer known as Jack the Ripper. Killer who targeted at least 5 women, all believed to be prostitutes, between August and November 1888. Despite extensive investigations, Jack the Ripper was never caught, leaving the case shrouded in mystery. The murders, known as the Canonical Five, shocked Victorian society. Each victim was brutally killed, their throats slashed and bodies mutilated. The killer's apparent knowledge of human anatomy led to speculation about their identity and motives. The so-called Canonical Five victims were Marianne Nichols, whose body was found on August 31, Annie Chapman, found September 8, Elizabeth Stride, found September 30, Catherine Kate, Edoise, found September 30, and Mary Jane Kelly, found September 30, and Mary Jane Kelly. According to the common assumption of the time, all the victims were prostitutes, and all but one of them, Kelly, was murdered while soliciting on the street. Now, the question raises, what's unique about the murders committed by Jack the Ripper? In each instance, the victim's throat was cut, and the body was usually mutilated in a manner indicating that the murderer had at least some knowledge of human anatomy. Not only this, on one occasion, half of a human kidney, which may have been extracted from a murder victim, was mailed to the police. The authorities also received a series of taunting notes from a person calling himself Jack the Ripper and purporting to be the murderer. Strenuous and sometimes curious efforts were made to identify and trap the killer. All to no avail. A great public uproar over the failure to arrest the murderer was raised against the Home Secretary and the London Police Commissioner, who resigned soon afterward. In 1992, a man named Michael Barrett supposedly found a diary in a Liverpool cotton merchant's old house, James Maybrick. The diary, written by Maybrick, had entries in which he confessed to being Jack the Ripper. However, critics countered that the diary and confession are a hoax. Now, what's the recent update came on this case? Currently, after 136 years, many suspects were considered, but none were definitively linked to the crimes. Recently, a police file on Jack the Ripper was made public by the great-grandson of a detective who worked on the case. The file includes photographs of a suspect named Michael Ostrog, early suspect for the Victorian killer, although he was later ruled out as the killer, as he was in the mental asylum of a French prison when the murders took place. Despite the passage of time, the Jack the Ripper case continues to captivate the public imagination. Jack the Ripper has served as a theme for many plays and books. The most well-known was perhaps Marie Adelaide Longdon's horror novel, The Lodger, 1913, which served as the basis for many movies, including Alfred Hitchcock's The Lodger, a story of the London fog, 1927. Additionally, the Jack the Ripper killings are the subject of over 100 nonfiction works, making this one of the most well-written cases in the true crime genre.